Shoptalk number
30!
30!
Welcome back. And this is kind of a milestone, isn't it?
Yeah. 30, let's make sure we don't splash on the guitar.
Yes, good call.
This drink we may discuss later. It is not alcoholic.
It's, yeah, but
it is actually a good drink right now because the sap is running.
it's maple water and
And I'm a sapper, I'm a sucker for sap. Sap
Yeah.
sucker.
we are not sponsored. Maybe someday.
And if Sap Sucker wants to sponsor us,
Get in touch.
get in touch.
That's good.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what are we
Captain
talking
Canada.
about today? We
All right.
are talking
Yes.
about...
What are we talking about today? Well, I just wanted, here we have this, we may not be able to leave it here because it keeps raining.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we have this beautiful guitar, which you can see. And the reason why I want it here is because when I started building my guitar, I wanted to build, well, I was inspired by the L1. The shape obviously wasn't going to be the same, but I wanted the tailpiece. I wanted a floating bridge like this,
The
or a
L1,
task.
the L1 is a very nice
Yeah,
looking guitar.
and it has, the ones that I was thinking of are the stained top,
Yeah.
a la, this sort of style.
Right.
And, yeah, and so we started building, and Zach said, let's put F-holes in instead. And I honestly did not want to do it.
Uh-huh.
So, and yet, my electric guitars that I'm building right now, that I'm designing and want to build, have F-holes in it,
F-holes.
of course, because you don't put a sound hole
Yeah.
in there. So it actually led me towards, anyway.
Yeah.
Point being that sometimes what we think we want or where we're headed is not always the best thing for us. Or how do we make those decisions?
Yeah.
It can't, yeah.
Yeah, so the direction of...
Right.
If you're a guitar maker, what direction are you going? There's a few different directions you can go in. You can go, well, let's go to the extremes. You can build copies of traditional guitars, Martin copies or Gibson copies.
Yeah, and again, looking at electric guitars, I mean, this is part of the reason why this topic came up is because I saw a guy build a Telecaster. It looked really sick. It was nice. He built it not like a Telecaster, but in that shape. And I thought, why don't I just build? And it was so much easier, it seems, in some ways, because he wasn't having to figure all these other things out. You just redo what they've done. But then I don't. Why would I build a Telecaster?
Is it inspiring?
Well, it could be, I guess, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But if I want a Telecaster, why don't I just buy one from?
Yeah. It would be cheaper.
Yeah. Some of them.
Then make
Some
it-
of them.
yeah.
Not all of them.
This is interesting because I feel like you could probably take guitar makers and split them up into two groups.
Okay.
Artists
Yeah.
and
Craftsmen.
Craftsmen, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We didn't plan that out, by the way. That's just what came to my mind.
yeah, but it's true that if you're copying like if you're making replicas, that's not a bad thing.
No.
They're great guitars. It's just a different avenue, basically, right?
Right.
And for me, I don't have an interest in doing that because I am interested in the creative process of like making my own and chasing the sound that I want.
Okay. Before we get into the sound thing, let's stick with the aesthetics
Okay,
part
yeah,
first.
yeah.
So what if I do end up building my dream guitar, which is an L1 shape,
Yeah.
but I have no idea what an L1 is actually like inside or the sound of it.
Right.
So all of that will be my own making. It's
Yeah.
just that aesthetic. Is that being a craftsman or is that being what was the other one?
An artist.
An artist.
Yeah, that's interesting because you're shaping sound, right? Or
but-
you're taking, I don't know, because you are taking what exists and putting your creative twist on it.
So see, there's that. So you split them all up, but then I start looking at these
There are some
craftsmen.
in between.
There's these
Yeah, you're
people
right.
who are kind of crossing that line,
Mm-hmm.
which is always the case. You can never split anybody up into any
Yeah.
kind of 100% categories.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there is that line of people, even within that group, who are building, quote, replicas. Some of them are trying to keep it as honest as possible. Whereas other ones are just taking it as inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
A starting point, or they were inspired by the shape, so they enjoyed that. You know, they're using that shape, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and actually, interestingly, from a marketing perspective, if you're building replicas as close as possible, there's more of a market for that.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's only a few guitar makers I know of that do that, and they are very successful.
Mm.
Which is interesting because it comes down to this whole. I think it's a trust thing of the customers, because a customer knows what a D18, a pre-war Martin sounds like, so they can make the assumption that a replica is going to sound like that, right? As opposed to this other guitar maker who's making this totally unique
Nobody
shaped
knows.
guitar.
There's
and
nothing to...
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you're trying the guitars, then you can A/B them.
Right, but where do you try guitars?
Well, guitar shops, and guitar shows, yeah.
Like,
But it's hard to hear them in guitar shows.
well, and even guitar shops, like how many guitar shops do you have guitars in?
One.
Where can I try Treehouse guitars out?
None right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even try out
Yeah.
one of these.
Yeah.
Well, I can, because I just do it in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's the looks, the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that even within this guitar here, there's certain elements people could say, well, that reminds me of a, or that reminds me of a, I don't know who else has a mustache for a bridge there, but I mean, the slotted head could be, you know, there's certain things that are going to be there. Look, it's got a fretboard on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. That's traditional
Right.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go too crazy on that.
No. So what else is a craftsman doing then? Just even beyond the looks?
A craftsman?
Or, I mean, sorry, an artist.
An artist.
Yeah.
Well, I think form, as far as like aesthetic design, aesthetic choices. They're bridges, for example, on a guitar. Like not this. I guess this kind of guitar. Why not? But on a standard steel string flat top guitar, you have a bridge.
Oh, you wrapped yours up already.
I
I was just looking for your bodies that you had around, but they're,
yeah, they're
they're gone.
But a Martin style bridge, like there are so many guitar makers that just put a good bridge like this on, which is standard.
Right.
One of the nice things is you could just buy it. Right? Look at this. I didn't make this. I just bought it.
I was going to say, that looks nicer than yours.
But that, in my opinion,
That thing's ringing.
this isn't. Yeah, it's ringing away. This is not really creative if you use a bridge that's like this.
So what's wrong with
Or
using
very
it then?
similar. Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. But for you,
Yeah.
you don't want it.
No.
Anybody want one?
Yeah. That's more for students to
All
look
right.
at. To
Okay.
look at. Just to look at. Take
They have to
measurements,
build their
whatever. Yeah. Well, they can do whatever they want.
They can go buy one. if
They
want.
can make one like that.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this also, well, we can segue into.
Well, okay.
Sort of.
Yeah. If you're talking about how that looks, what about even the choices in woods
Yeah.
and the way that you treat the woods?
Yeah. There are there are so many woods out there, and a lot of them don't get used for guitars. Why?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It is a good question because
Because they sound like crap.
Every wood is going to make a decent sounding as long as you treat it properly. according to what it is, what the density is, what the weight is, whatever, then you can make a good guitar out of it. So, this all ties into marketing, in a way, really, because guitar makers, if you rely on guitar making for your income, you have to sell the guitars. So I think
That's how that works.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. But building out of, I kind of want to say fear, building out of fear,
Right.
or building,
Out of peer pressure?
not peer pressure, but out of,
Well, market pressure?
yeah, marketing, market
pressure?
So,
We could maybe make that word up if it doesn't exist.
yeah, but yeah, that's totally what it is, because, and this is where it's hard to make major shifts. For example, using sustainable, like using not ebony
Right.
fretboards.
Yeah.
Don't look at this one. But yeah, if convincing, making that shift can be very difficult. But
Right.
you know what it takes? It takes guitar makers to say, I'm not using ebony anymore.
Right.
I'm using royal blackwood.
It takes 5 or 6 well-known guitar builders to start selling guitars that are not using that.
Yeah.
Then people go, oh, but that's an awesome guitar.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, there are some dealers that actually they
Discouraged?
they discourage makers from actually doing anything too far outside of the norm, which is unfortunate, I think.
Right.
But
they have to
there
sell
are-
the guitars.
Yeah, but there are also the other interesting thing is there are also a lot of buyers that are interested in these new ideas, new concepts, tone woods,
Yeah.
whatever, as long as it works, right?
Right.
And they like the sound of the guitar or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually thinking about like a couple of electric guitar builders who I actually don't want their guitar. I don't like the look for myself,
Yeah.
but I follow them and I'm inspired by
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're doing something that's like definitely not your standard guitar. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like the look. I'm saying that they don't suit my aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the look of them. Obviously, that's why I'm inspired by them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
This kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with Sergey when I was apprenticing with him, and he was saying that dealers always wanted tops that were white, clean white tops, and more often than not, when he had customers come pick out a top, they would pick the colorful ones with streaking in it and like with different coloring. So there's like a bit of a
Misnomer
I
about
guess.
what some people want.
Yeah, but I think it's scaring guitar makers from doing what they might think is a good idea.
So, yeah, and rightfully so in some ways. Again, this is a great example. We kind of went out on a limb here and we designed some stuff ourselves, like in each of our guitars. But you're designing it yourself, and you got this metal piece made.
Yeah,
And it works fine.
yeah,
But it doesn't work the way you expected it to. Like there's still some more work you would probably change it up.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something that is like standard, if you were to just buy the tailpiece, that's the little metal bars, and all that work has already been done for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Hopefully. Now, unfortunately, on the other side of it, sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it to, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, right.
So maybe it's worth digging in and taking some of these, steps along the way where you have to tweak it and work with it more than you would want to, so that you can get something in the future
Yeah.
that you would really.
You mean like being creative with fewer things, or?
Yeah, or just being creative with things that you have to then develop.
Yeah, right.
But that means in the end, you actually have something
Yeah.
that's yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is not the only thing. I actually, right inside here, I keep putting, is a layout, which I don't know if anybody else has ever done it.
Yeah, the bracing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Phoenix bracing?
Yeah. Not that I know of, anyways. I've never
Not
seen
on
anything like
purpose,
it.
anyway. And not that you were going out of your way to do it so it is different.
Right. No, it's just physically
You just
made
wanted
sense. Yeah.
to try something that you had in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it works, but maybe there's some tweaking that needs to be done.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess what I'm getting from what you're saying is the creative side often takes a lot of design and
time.
working on designs or like development.
Yeah, and also, but in that process requires you a little bit more work. Right. So if you were just doing a standard bracing on a standard guitar, you already know your measurements, you already know what you're going to do. It's done.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas on this, you had to take your measurements, test it, redo it, and tweak it and tweak it. And it's just because it's new, you have to go through more testing that you wouldn't if you were just doing the same thing over and over again and reproducing somebody else's or your own work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is, I'd say this is a bit on the
extreme.
On the extreme, because I would say a lot of guitar makers that are artists are they're still pin bridges that are glued on. Their bracing is fairly close to traditional American style X-brace bracing.
Right.
But they are changing things slightly from one guitar to another to test things. Or they're always trying to make a better guitar the next time.
Right.
Which I think it seems to be a theme with the guitar makers that are creative. They're trying to push the envelope, or at least actually, this is interesting because I feel like a lot of the new guitar makers are doing this, but they don't know what they're going for. So they might be changing things to make the guitar better.
But what's better?
Exactly.
Right.
Which is, I think the first question you should ask yourself is what do I want more out of my guitars?
Right.
So for me, I know I want volume and I want dynamic range. And the rest, like sustain, it's there. It's
right.
But trying to tweak things to enable that, coax it out of my guitars, I guess, even more. This was totally different, I think. But
I think you do want playability as well.
Yeah, I mean,
but you've already achieved it. But
yeah, that's.
It's
one of the most important.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Just in case people are wondering.
Yeah.
All the other stuff. Yeah, but even though like you had mentioned, even weight wise.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are discouraged from making a guitar X, in this direction because it may be too heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, and the very old guitars are often so lightweight. My cello from 1880, it's like, I can't believe it's not falling apart. It feels like it's, 10 grams or something. This is quite heavy.
Right.
But, there are, I think, at least the way I see it is when I'm trying to develop my instruments, a lot of it has to do with distribution of weight, where the weight is going to be, because vibrations they carry inertia.
Right.
So wherever vibrations border, or like a vibrating plate borders, the mass is going to make a difference. So on the top, if you have heavy sides, it's going to make a difference to the sound of the top.
Right.
If you have really lightweight sides, it's going to make a difference.
Right.
But it's not that simple either, because the top, I also don't distribute the weight evenly, because, on these guitars it's a bit different because all the pressure is down, and the fingerboard's not pushing down in the top. But on my other guitars, I have like this top part of the guitar is heavy.
Yeah.
But it's also having to take 128 pounds of force that's like twisting up and pushing that fingerboard down.
Which is actually why this one is heavier.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, because the mass is in the sides and in those ribs that go right across that are
to try and just to see, because you don't sure with this one, you know, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Now the big thing is this, all right? If you want to, though, like, to create something new.
Yeah.
And you want to reach it, and that, you know, I'm talking about this time.
Mm.
Really, how many guitars do you have
Before you
that you can even give yourself to try and reach the sound you want?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because really, how many more guitars do you have in you?
Yeah.
The thing is that I look at what people, like beginners, and there's nothing wrong with like starting down a path where you're replicating and you're building, but you're always thinking, oh, I'll do this. But the reality is, if you can only build 5 to 10 guitars a year, that's full time, you know, without much testing going on.
Yeah. That's yeah.
You don't have an awful lot of guitars in you.
Yeah, your product development better be pretty quick.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it's just been hitting me.
Uh-huh.
Like, if it's taking you that, you know, if it's taking somebody that long, you can't, I'll try this, and then I'll try that, and then I'll do another guitar. Like, you know, that could be your first 4 years gone.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you're trying this and that actually took you longer.
But, you know, like, that's scary.
Yeah, I
right?
think it's scary.
Then you better not try things.
No. On the other hand,
though,
I am saying that you better try it now.
Yeah.
And get to what you want.
Yeah.
Don't say, well, I'll just learn, because at some point you're just spending all your time.
But what if it doesn't sell?
Well,
this is where I feel I always encourage guitar makers to try things.
Yeah.
Because I see so many guitar makers, even very well-known guitar makers, doing things because the market, because the market wants Brazilian rosewood. I'm building with Brazilian rosewood.
Right.
Or using certain finishes.
Right.
Same thing, because the market wants a certain kind of finish.
We really are going to get in. We'll get into finishes a lot more later after we've had a few years of trying of grasping this, but
I think the way I see it is, this is like my philosophy, more of like my living philosophy, but I don't want to do stuff that I don't want to do.
Right.
So I don't want to build guitars that I don't want to build.
Right.
So why would I waste my time building guitars that I don't want to build when I could be being creative?
Right.
But
you got to have the money to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's definitely
a certain amount of money. So you have to do a good job. You have to market that. You actually have to make a good guitar while you're at it.
Yeah, but I think that's any guitar making.
Yeah, well, I know.
Yeah, right.
But you can't be going like out and just building something crazy and going, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it has to sound good, and I just want people to know that these are great sounding guitars.
Yeah.
They're just a little different.
Right, yeah.
You know? But I think, I think we don't have enough time to build anything other than what we really want to build.
And that's the other thing is, if you're scared, if you're scared of making what you want to build because you don't know if it's going to sell, well, guess what? You want to build it.
Yeah.
Therefore, there are people out there that will want to buy it.
And guess what? If you can only build 5 to 10 guitars a year,
yeah,
you only need to find 5 to 10 other people
that still
who are like you. But who are like you,
especially at first.
Yeah. But who are like you that want that guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it's that hard. It's hard too, though, to sell your, Martin OM replica,
right?
When you could buy somebody else's Martin OM replica who is a well-known builder. You know, when you're first starting out, when you're first starting out, it's just hard.
Oh yeah, it's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard regardless.
So I'm saying head in a direction where you're at least going to be making something that you want to make.
Yeah, you do.
You know?
You want to enjoy what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Which could be a Martin replica.
Why else would you make guitars?
It could be an L1 replica.
Why else? Why? Give me one reason that you would make guitars other than you want to do what you want.
Fame and misfortune.
Right, fame.
And misfortune.
Because I'm so famous.
And misfortune. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
You're kind of famous around here. Yeah.
I'm getting better known.
I mean, here, like in this little town.
Actually, I feel like I'm less well known in this town than in the guitar community.
Isn't that funny? That's the way it usually works. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, follow what you want to do. Do what you do. You do you.
Yeah.
And the rest will fall into place.
I think so. I think if you're going to be passionate about it, personally, I want to buy a guitar from somebody who's passionate about what they're making.
Yeah.
And some people are passionate about certain, like, quote, replicas. We say replicas, they don't have to be exactly the same. That is their passion. That's why they got into guitar building.
Yeah.
Great.
Also, I'll insert this little tidbit. My favorite guitars that I've ever played have been made by guitar makers that are passionate about what they do.
Mm-hmm. I
don't know if there's some kind of voodoo thing happening.
I think that when you're passionate about something, anything, you're gonna make it better.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the secret sauce, really.
Yeah.
It's not this side and that side now that you could learn from, but anyway. Yeah, just make some cool stuff.
Yeah. And then people will.
Because we don't have time. Honestly, we just don't have that much time.
Yeah.
What is this, like this guitar that's been in development for 2 years, really?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
And
now the first 3, basically. The first 3
are just about done.
Yeah.
Like, not even done.
But
we will have a celebration when they're done.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. But now, when are the next 3 gonna get done? Like, it's like, you just don't have time. So, yeah. Drink your sap.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Or
2 weeks.
Yeah.